Wow. Here we are. Welcome to episode, was it 7, right? Episode 7 of the SmyleCast. I have Sam here. I don't even know Sam's last. What's your last name, Sam?
My last name is Buis.
Buis?
Yep.
But you're Sam B yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's
Thank
what I
you
go
for
by.
being here, bro.
Of course, dude. Thank you for having me. I wanted to come up and kick it, man. It's a beautiful space you got.
Man, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for blessing this beautiful space with your energy.
Yeah, of course. Hell yeah, man.
So Sam B yourself, man. You're a rapper. You're a multifaceted entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
But rapping mainly. That's my forte. That's your bread and butter.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love Sam Be Yourself. I love the be yourself element to it. How did you come up with that?
Yeah, so with my last name being Buis, and starting with a B, when I first started, rapping and releasing my little raps and handing out burned CDs of my raps in high school, I used to just go by Sam B.
Okay.
And it got to a point where I was like, I just don't think that'll work forever. You know what I mean? So instead of trying to deviate too far away from Sam B, I just added an E onto the end of the B, and I was like, Sam B what? And I was like, B what could? And that's where I sat for a while. I was like, Sam B what? I had to figure that part out.
Yeah.
And yourself just kind of rolled off the tongue, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely what I encompass. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to. The things that I make music about are authentic to me. I'm not really so. And just the message itself, it works. Everybody should try to be themselves a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Might have a better world going on if we did.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I've been meditating a lot recently on the concept of authenticity, right? Beyond being positive and beyond being all of these things we strive to be, can we just be authentic?
Yeah.
And I think what a way to be authentic. Sam, be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's off the tongue now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And one of my buddies, as soon as I told him I was going to do it, he was like, that's going to work. Yeah. That's going to stick. So yeah, it wasn't it took a while. It was like a 6-month thing of what should I do before I release? Because I was just sitting on a project that I wanted to put out.
How old were you at that time?
At that time, I was 22, 23, something like that. Yeah. And
you mentioned before the podcast you started making music back in high school, right?
Yeah.
08, 09. So
yeah.
This is still newer in your career at this point when you made that Sam Be Yourself. That was your probably moment of
so yeah, this was before
branding yourself.
This is before I released what I would call my first official project. It was all beats made by me. Mm-hmm. It was all mixed and mastered by me. It was it was my first full real effort of being vulnerable and rapping about childhood traumas, things like that, you know what I mean? Just being really giving a full effort body of music. So I was I can't just roll this out as Sam B, and just another mixtape. This is important. Yeah. This is special. So then I launched the name change with some merch and this project. And the project is still available on Bandcamp only.
Bandcamp.
Because it's my baby and I'm not going to just throw it on streams.
I miss Bandcamp.
Yeah, so it's a hidden gem if you want to go find it on my Bandcamp. But yeah, that's funny that because I've been trying to do better at meditating on things and getting closer to whatever that higher realm is, whether it be God or whatever. When did you get into that?
Man, probably about the same time that you rebranded yourself as Sam Be Yourself, because I was probably 20 or 21.
Yeah.
And I think at that point in my life, I was always addicted to something, bro. I was either addicted to the girl I was dating, the girl that I wasn't dating, the next girl that I needed. I don't know. You grew up in high school and that's the thing to get chicks,
Oh yeah.
So I think that was the first addiction, and then I don't know, you get into drinking, and then for me pills hit me really bad, but I was just kind of yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, man. So I got it really into just the normal ones you get prescribed. I got an MIP when I was 16, and I had to go on probation, and I was drinking and smoking weed at that time. And then once I got the MIP, I was getting drug tested, but that's the time where I went and met with a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist was you have ADD and anxiety, so we'll give you this Adderall and Xanax, which was a kiss of the devil, you know?
Oh my God. You might as well just be here's a bag of coke and here's some heroin.
I know, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, man.
That's so fucking insane.
I know.
And I bet it's not like that anymore. I bet doctors are no, we don't.
Yeah, they're Schedule 1s. People are getting hip to it, right?
That's crazy to me, dude.
Right, so then I was 16 seeking meaning, and then I got addicted to pills because that's what my drug dealer was a doctor, like that Macklemore song. That's how I felt, like literally. I'm like, okay, like I can't drink or smoke weed, but I could definitely take 100 milligrams of Adderall. And
If I take 4 of these fucking Xannies,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking be on the moon. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, dude. So that was a trip for a while, but then like that kind of spiraled. Then I got to be able to start drinking again because I was getting drug tested. But I was always addicted to something, and I think I was always weirdly using these substances to find the deeper meaning of my existence. And I got into a lot of Eastern religion and philosophy around the time I was like 20 or 21. I went through like a really bad breakup, and like I realized at that point, like all of these different things I was using were to like fill this hole inside of me, and there was like
Sure.
there was a longing for like an understanding beyond that. So that's kind of the time where I got into like Eastern religion, Eastern philosophies. I started to listen to like a lot of Ram Dass lectures, who I told you the quotes from on the wall here, but I read the book Be Here Now, and I really got into, funny enough, like Steve Jobs and a lot of Steve Jobs teachings.
Sure.
I guess he like went to India and studied under Ram Dass. So like
Sure.
it just opened up like this whole new wormhole, I think, of like of what my life could be. And I've just been on that journey ever since, and I'm not perfect, and sometimes I divert from the mean, but
Sure.
that's where I'm
Sure.
at.
Yeah, I definitely want to read that book because, like I said, dude, I've just been trying to find different ways to get what I, like whatever I'm getting out of drinking and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like I need
Sure.
to find alternatives to get to find that, dude.
Have you ever tried like mushrooms or microdosing?
I have, yeah. I
Yeah.
usually indulge a few times a year.
Nice.
Like but
bigger trips then?
no, nothing
No.
crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy, but maybe something like that is what I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a drug. What I've been learning recently too is that like for me to use mushrooms or ketamine, or a lot of people do these Aya trips now. I haven't done Aya. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a cheat code almost. You're basically like if you just work on yourself, meditate, do yoga, you're like this, but when you take like mushrooms, you just go like right here.
Yeah.
It kind of like
for sure.
it breaks down that wall.
For sure.
Which can be good and bad though, because like if you're not ready for that, you might just be like, whoa, like that was intense. So I think like all of those substances represent a pathway to God, but I think what I've been realizing, especially lately, and even like this morning, I went and I did like a 30-minute. I went to the CYL infrared sauna place.
Dude,
around the
love that
corner.
spot.
Yeah, isn't it sweet?
Yeah, I go there all the time.
Yeah, so I did that 30-minute infrared sauna session. I just went for like a 10-minute run because I've been trying to run again.
Nice.
And then I did some breath work and stuff. But I realized that like I got to the same space I get to with mushrooms. Maybe not like profound, like these earth-shattering
full-blown
things.
ego death. Yeah.
Right, but I truly think there's a space where you can meet God, and you don't necessarily need the substances, but without the substances, it takes way more practice to get there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure.
We all want this quick fix.
Yeah,
and easy way to do it,
to reach that enlightened state for sure. How long have you? So you're like 100% sober, like no weed, no nothing.
You know what? I've been dabbling, and in dabbling, I call it research because that's what Ram Dass would call it when he was doing LSD or whatever, is research. So for me, one of the ones that I go back and forth on a lot is ketamine.
Okay.
So ketamine, I'm prescribed it through a at-home treatment facility place, and basically ketamine is a dissociate. So you take it and you dissociate, and you kind of go to a place, the place I'm describing, of maybe like the realm of understanding, and I think you can have these really profound takeaways and come back and integrate them. But for me with ketamine, with my background in abusing substances, like it's just hard because like I know that's so accessible, and I know I have the medicine to get there.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, like am I doing this to like get wisdom from God, or am I doing this to get high and escape? You know? So that's kind of the balance I've been on.
Tough line to tread for sure.
Yeah. And I think with that, when I slowed down with that, then I started to drink a little bit again because like I've shifted my perspective on drinking, and I think it's funny we have these little experiences in our life where we're one side or the other. So when I was like off alcohol completely, I'm like, alcohol is so bad. I can't believe anyone who would drink alcohol, they're nuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then like you have a couple drinks, maybe I took 2 years off of drinking, I had a couple drinks with my friends, and I'm like, okay, I see why there might be something here.
Yeah,
You
as
know?
long as it doesn't result
Ruin
in
your
having
life.
12 of those drinks.
Or get a DUI.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
ruin your relationship, you know?
Yeah.
So now, like, I'm taking a new, maybe not a new stance or approach, and there'll probably be a space soon where maybe I don't drink again, but I think I'm realizing that the key to life is more balance in these things.
Sure.
And
Same
if you're
here,
on
man.
one side or the other, it's like, it's just as bad because then
Yeah.
you're looking at people on the other side, like, with almost like a judgmental kind of
Sure.
energy.
Yeah, because that's definitely where I am too. I know that with 2020, obviously came the pandemic, and it wasn't just me where my drinking accelerated. It was the
Dude.
entire planet.
I know.
And we were running. We were running out of booze. Like they couldn't keep up whiskey production.
Yeah.
There's Guinness shortages even
Man.
today. It's like we're drinking faster than we're producing it as a planet.
Yep.
And yeah, it hit me where it's it hit me pretty much top of this year. So my birthday's New Year's Eve, and this past New Year's I was just like, I gotta slow down, dude, because
Yeah.
like I turned 30,
Uh-huh.
and then I realized like, you started drinking when you were 13, 14 years old,
Right.
8th grade, 9th grade.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you've put in 15 years. Like, your jersey's in the rafters, dude.
Yeah.
You put in a full NBA career with the bottle. You know what I mean? So it's like
wow. What a perspective.
it's time to like scale it back, because this is the fork in the road where it's like,
Yeah.
are you just gonna get drunk every fucking weekend,
Right,
or on
right.
a random Tuesday because you're bored and
Yeah.
you're running from whatever your stress is,
Yeah.
or are you gonna lock the fuck in and be
Damn. I
and just
love that perspective.
understand that like boozing should be a celebration. It should,
Totally.
There's a time and a place to get wild, and
Yeah.
like that's
Mix it
when your
up.
friends are getting married. That's
Yeah.
when you've accomplished a huge goal that you had for yourself. That's
Yeah.
when someone special in your life has made it around the sun one more time, you know?
Right.
And those things should be a handful of times a year,
Yeah.
just not all the fucking time like I was doing.
I love that perspective, bro, because, at that point you realize that you've been drinking more than you have not been drinking, right? There's been more years
Dude.
of your life that you were consuming alcohol than not.
15 years,
Right.
between 4 and 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
15 years.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And it weighs on you after
And
a
more
while.
and more so on the 5, 6, 7 nights a week range.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I
I
mean?
feel you,
It,
bro.
it could be
Especially
one
in the
drink, it
pandemic.
could be a whole 12 pack, but it's
Yeah.
like I was doing it almost daily.
Yeah.
You know?
And it becomes an escape, just like anything, right? I think anything that uses us is inherently bad, right?
Yeah.
And when we talk about using a substance, even if it's social media, like if we're using these things and we just lose control of ourselves in it, like maybe we should do them less or not at all, you know?
Dude, yeah. I feel like that's going to come eventually, just like with the rates and just like the accessibility to all this social media that like young children have.
Yep.
I feel like we are going to get to a point where it's like government mandated, like Instagram is shut down for the next 48 hours, go outside.
Dude, it's
kind
wild.
of thing.
We should have
Like,
that.
I think that's going to come eventually
Yeah.
because it's just like the effects are too damning. And
No,
like,
it's wild.
yeah, it's wild.
Like even last night.
Yet I
bro,
rely on it to like
Me too.
communicate,
we wouldn't be able
my
to,
art
we
with.
wouldn't be able to air this podcast without.
Yeah.
We could, but like YouTube. That's
Sure.
why I've been trying to get on YouTube more, because like YouTube, I feel like it is the worst of two evils. I don't know what they're putting in Instagram now, but it's like heroin. Like it's really bad.
It's really bad, dude. It's really bad, and they are just absolutely ripping you off as a creator as well, because the way that everything is set up now, dude, it's just you have to pay to play.
Yeah, you do.
It's even with TikTok. It's with Twitter. It's with anything. It's like I could have 1 million followers, and when I post, it's gonna reach 1 to 5% of them.
Isn't that wild?
And that's just a fact. Unless I pay Instagram
Yep.
to boost my post.
Or you do a trending audio with like a viral kind of like you have to feed whatever the algorithm.
Yeah, man.
is.
It's all pay to play. Same with like Spotify.
Yeah.
If you're an artist, you got to pay them for ads and shit. It's turned into that thing where it's kind of like really hard to reach anything naturally, organically blow the hell up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
think about that a lot, and I think about how often I even like use social media. Like I had this moment last night where my partner Lorna was like packing to go out of town, and I knew like I wouldn't see her for a couple days, and I was like helping her pack, but like in between packing I would like step out of the room to look at like Instagram for 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm using this like
yeah, this
like
is
a drug. Like
it's
I'm
a quick
just like
hit,
this
quick
is
hit.
like my vape. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like grabbing
It's
this.
like stepping
Let me
outside,
let
have
me
a
just
cigarette.
get a couple
Swipes, dude. Oh my god, dude.
Isn't that wild though, man?
Like it's like going to your boss and being like, I just gotta step outside for 15 minutes
Yeah,
and just go scroll.
Dude,
Like it's crazy.
Oh, it's wild. Even
It's
like
wild.
all like
I'm a victim of it too, man. It's all I fucking do. And then I just get angry when my shit's not getting the views and likes that it used to get
Isn't
2.5 years ago. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how is it possible?
I know.
You know?
I think about that too. I've talked about this on previous podcasts, but the way Instagram is set up and TikTok set up specifically, like my little brother even like got super big on TikTok, and even he speaks about it like a drug, because like imagine like you hit the lottery, you know, at like 18 years old, and you get like $1 million, and
Sure.
you're like, oh my god, and then you're probably either spending that real quick, but then you're searching for that same high over and over again. And that's how I feel like going viral on social media is.
Totally,
like it gives
dude.
these whoever a lottery ticket, right? You get this feeling, and then you're now addicted to it. And now everything you're doing is to top that feeling. But even you see it, like you have like 100,000 followers on Instagram, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no way 100,000 people are seeing the content you're putting out.
No.
And that's got to be damning. That's got to be frustrating.
Oh, it's like it's not only like soul crushing, but like financially crushing as well. It's like I should be
Totally.
reaching so much
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Oh, I feel it.
Oh,
like,
it's for sure. I'm like forever chasing that dragon of like whatever my highest viewed video was.
my gosh,
it's
dude.
like it totally is
Dude,
that.
you get 1 million views on a video on Instagram and you're like, oh, I need that again. And
Yeah.
then the hardest thing about being a creative, bro, and like making this whatever positivity content I do, or funny Instagram reels, or like having someone like you come on the podcast, and like I have a clip where I clip it and I'm like, damn, like thank you God, like
Oh, yeah.
that was an awesome clip. Like I love that energy. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, this is gonna touch so many people's lives, and I post it and it gets 500 views. And like, how can I not, as a creative, like take that, like I'm not good enough or I'm not doing the right thing, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's tough.
it is.
It's a vicious cycle.
It really is. It really is. It's you fall in love with the process.
Yep.
You fucking get everything ready to go. You give that to the world, and then you're just back to like, damn, I suck at this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a vicious cycle. And you're like, maybe I don't, but yeah, you know, hopefully it's just like one day it can click, and whatever's meant to be will be at the end of the day.
That's what I tell myself.
But dude, especially music, man. It's like this. The state of like the music industry right now is so fucking wild. And
yeah.
and these huge massive labels are downsizing, letting people go, and it's gotten weirder and weirder to the point where it's like I saw a tweet from another rapper, Russ, who said like these labels aren't
I love Russ.
yeah, these labels aren't signing artists, they're signing audiences. It's on you. It's on you to go
Wow.
build this audience, and then they'll fuck with you. It's like it doesn't really matter what the music is. The music can be Kanye West in a fucking Ku Klux Klan robe.
Damn, for real.
It doesn't matter, but like it's like if the audience is there, people are gonna listen. It's insane. It's insane.
Halsey said that recently too. I think Halsey or another big entertainer was like, if I'm not good at TikTok, can I still be a musician? And I'm like, damn, like that's so real.
Dude,
Like,
that's how, yeah.
people are building careers off TikTok, and it's great. Like I know people well in my life that are doing fantastic on TikTok, and I love them to death. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's not like how it used to be. I was thinking about this recently. Like social media. And I think this is why some of my content doesn't get views, because I'm posting content on social media talking about how social media sucks.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
This will be on Instagram.
Yeah.
I hate you, Instagram.
We still love you, but we don't. But I don't know. We wouldn't have the outlet if it wasn't for that. But I was thinking about this, bro. Like when we were like in high school, even before high school, we were in middle school. There was like even at my high school, there was this guy, Dan Kazurski. I think he still makes music under the handle Dan Canvas.
What up, Dan?
Yeah, I think he's out of Chicago now, I think. But anyways, so he was rapping back in high school. And this is like, Pro Tools days, this is like YouTube, there's no social media, there's barely Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I wish I could be a creative during that day, because then you don't have to worry about this alter ego, this persona online that you have to keep up with. So not only do you have to keep up appearances and live performances and reaching people in real life, but then you have this side of yourself where you have to constantly be promoting and posting these videos, and then if you don't do that, you become irrelevant. You can't get anyone to come to your shows. It's like,
yeah,
wow, man.
That's honestly like, and it's stupid to do that, but that's honestly my biggest regret of this whole music career journey experience, is that I didn't double and triple down on that back then. Is that I wasn't posting more vlogs of just me sitting in my room doing whatever. Whether that was making a beat or rapping or just hanging out with friends or whatever, it was just not putting, because I was afraid. Like, I didn't want to look a certain way. I didn't want people to think this. And like, you see people like, the biggest example I like to use is like Wiz Khalifa back then, when he would post these vlogs called Day to Day.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you would just be invited into his life for 30 minutes and he'd show you all this different shit. And it felt like, oh my God, it's like listening to your favorite podcaster. It feels like when a new episode drops, it feels like you're like having a conversation with your friend.
Right. Oh,
I
love it.
You're like, you know this person.
Yes.
So it's like, that's the one thing I regret, is not doubling and tripling down on content back then. Where literally a music video, dude, if it hit 1 million views, labels were calling.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's like, you have to hit 100 million views for them to fucking call you. It's like, yeah, it's a wild time, but you just gotta find a way to cut through the noise, and that's
gotta keep swimming.
Yeah, it's usually, you gotta go through it to get to it, or whatever the fuck they say, But
go through what you, or glow through what you go through, right?
Something like that. Right? Something like that.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, no, you've been on this journey a minute, man, and I'm proud of you for waking up to the alcohol thing. I think like.
Yeah.
So are you sober now, or just
no?
I'm
working on it. Working on it. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't had a drink in a week, but that's not like I'm like counting days. You know what I mean? Like 2020.
You don't have the shakes though.
No, I've never.
See it, at least you're hiding.
No, I've never been physically dependent. Like, wake up, gotta have it.
Yeah.
Things like that. But no, I was just I consider it was just the sheer volume, I guess, was that I was consuming. It was when I was drinking. It's like, how much I would drink. Because,
even now that I've started to drink again, it'll be like fun. Like, I'll have a couple Guinnesses and I'll just like try and teach myself how to play guitar. Like, I have fun with moments like that. But I feel like alcohol, if you do too much of it, it takes away from that. And I feel I feel like if alcohol is the thing we look forward to like all the time, that's an issue.
It's terrible.
We're just like looking forward to like March Madness, going out to the bars, and March Madness is great for sure. But like, I don't know. I think it takes.
It's just a reason to drink.
It's just a reason to drink.
It's like, what the fuck am I checking in and playing this game?
Yeah, right.
Did I just make it to the Elite Eight?
Yeah,
no. But
dude, I love that you said that, because it's like, am I consuming or am I creating? And a lot of times, unfortunately, if I'm consuming alcohol or drugs, I am not creating. I'm just consuming. Just like on social media. If I spend 6 hours in a day just looking at Instagram reels, but I'm not creating a reel myself, what am I really doing with my time?
Wow, that's a good point. That's crazy. That's cool. I like thinking of it like that way, because usually I'll only post like one piece of content a day or whatever, but it's like the time I'm probably spending looking at other people's content, I could have made 4 more pieces of content.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
And not that we have to make a bunch of content, not that we don't have to never drink, but I feel like if we're just constantly consuming, or, we look forward to the weekend and we spend 6 hours drinking, like, it's cool to release like that. It's cool to like have a nice time in that moment, but it also disconnects us from the creative process. And further, I think like the more we use substances, the more it disconnects us from God. And I feel like, whether we believe in God or a higher power or whatever, I have inconclusive concrete evidence that there's no way we would just be here to just exist without a higher power. I feel like when I'm living in my highest self and I'm living in my intuition, I feel like I'm being led by a higher power than myself.
Yeah.
But it's like the more Tyler, this vessel, gets in the way of that and does his own thing and parties too hard or drinks too much, it's like that's when my life starts to fall apart. You know?
Oh, for sure.
I'm just like, oh, I'm better, God. Like I got it. You know,
there's a reason that they call straight liquor spirits. You know what I mean? Because
it brings something out
has
of you.
it has the ability to either enhance, like you said, a couple of Guinnesses can literally just like, holy shit, it could be the cherry on top of the day. Perfect. I'm gonna sleep a little bit better because of that. But it's when you go to 12 Guinnesses, that's when you that's when you start doing dumb shit.
Yep.
And bad things start happening to you. I do believe that too much of that shit it's like an energy that follows you, and there's only one way out, and it's like fucking. It's the cliche thing of like dead or jail, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like when you let that shit take over your life. But
For sure.
yeah, luckily it's never gotten there, but it has affected you know, just like you said, creative processes, relationships with people, and especially like the most important relationships where it's like even, you know, just like
familial.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
A significant other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like
it's funny that you said that though. Back to what you were saying about how it gets you farther away from God. Because on my most recent project that I just put out, I mentioned that in one of my songs that like I've been trying to do better at keeping God in my life, whatever that may be.
That makes me cry.
Whatever that may. Oh shit! Sorry. Whatever that may be. Whatever that may look like. I don't know if that means going to church every Sunday, but maybe that is praying more. Maybe that is. I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm like trying to do better at that, whatever it is, you know.
I love it, and I think that's really special that you shared that, and really vulnerable that you shared that, because I feel like, especially in the creative space and as an entertainer and as a rapper like yourself, I feel like there's like almost like a stigma or an energy that you have to keep up with, and I feel like this even with the stuff that I'm putting out, like the conscious content and positivity, like. I always have to be like this happy-go-lucky, positive, God-fearing
We're on the
guy.
We're on the SmyleCast.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? You can't not.
Yeah, I might change it to the authenticity podcast, I can't even speak right now because I'm so authentic. But I'm learning slowly that life is more than that, man, and like. I've just been doing this prayer recently that's like, I'm like, God, clear the runway for me and clear the runway for us so I could be a vessel for like you in my life. Let my life be a way to honor whatever energy this is, you know? And it's not always going to be perfect, and it's not always going to look like really awesome, and I'm not going to be giggling and smiling the whole time, but sometimes the most profound lessons come from a bender, or like seriously, like getting kicked in the face, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Waking up after like a 3-day long weekend where you drank every day and looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, okay, like time to, you know,
time to get it
dust
together.
this off, you know, get my life fucking back together.
Yeah, for sure.
That's weird, bro. I feel like with me this last 2 years has been like a constant building myself up and then breaking myself down, and it's wild. I've been getting like so addicted to growth that like I almost like fuck myself up on purpose because I enjoy healing so much. It's wild. It's like almost like weirdly sadistic. Like I'm like addicted to suffering in a weird way because I know beyond that suffering is like the biggest squeeze from God that I've ever had in my life.
Wow. That's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah. I mean, were you when you use the word God, is that like Christianity based for you?
You know what, man? I feel like the religion I most subscribe to is actually Hinduism.
Okay.
Hinduism is the oldest written religion that exists. I guess that's what they say. But I like. That's what
they claim.
They claim. Catholicism. No.
Fact check that for us.
Yeah. Can we get once the podcast gets big enough, we'll have someone.
We'll have like a Jamie over there.
Yeah, on the side there pulling stuff up. But no, I grew up Christian, but Christianity to me felt like a lot of judgment.
Too many rules for me.
Yeah, a lot of rules. Yeah. So Hinduism is essentially like, okay, God is real, God is love, God is in all of us. We have these incarnations. The goal of life is to get closer and closer to God with each incarnation, to get closer to the highest version of ourselves. And then one day, once we purify enough, we'll join God in perfect union and be one with the abyss and the elements. Mm-hmm. And also I find Hinduism very interesting and insightful because Hinduism believes that Christ was real. Hinduism believes Jesus was here. Jesus was a wise teacher. Jesus might have been the Son of God. He came here to teach. He learned, and then he presented these lessons to us, and then he joined God. And they also believe in the Buddha. They also believe in Krishna. So, like, it seems like the most accepting religion that I've studied, and I studied in India for a month. So like I went to India.
That's impressive, dude.
Yeah, I drank the Ganga water. I got sick. Like it was a whole thing. But I love Christianity too. I think that all religions get us closer to the truth. I just think the problem with a lot of mainstream religions is like if you don't do this, and that, then you're going to hell. You know, and it seems. You know,
like, did you see that video of that pastor that told the ushers to close the doors or whatever the other day?
What happened?
Oh, you didn't see that? I forget his name. There was just some pastor who literally was like told his ushers like close the doors. He was like making everyone there donate. He was like, now if I get $20 from everyone in here and everyone who's streaming online right now, that's $40,000. And he like literally told the people to close the doors. And he's like, you're not leaving.
What?
It was insane. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It just seems like a lot of Christianity in modern America is just like a way to get rich and dodge taxes.
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
It does seem like that.
For a lot of people, but
a
lot of people, it's obviously a strong faith.
No,
and I don't want to mean that to piss like Christians off.
Yeah, I love Christians
because I was baptized. And,
and I identify, I think, as a Christian in some regard. You're baptized. I've been baptized 2 or 3 times. I love Christianity. I think it's great. The principles that founded Christianity are awesome. I have a lot of Christian friends that are absolutely amazing. This is not to discount any of that.
Yeah.
But it's just to say, like, different strokes for different folks, right?
Yeah.
I think that maybe someone that doesn't believe in religion but believes in God, how does that make them any different than someone that's like a tried and true Christian, right?
For sure.
I think religion, at the core of religion and Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, even Buddhism is...
Because I was raised Catholic. And I kind of identify as that as well.
Right on. But a lot of these religions just stem from, like, loving your neighbor, being a good person, loving God and keeping God at the center of your universe and letting that guide you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's been stripped away. Dude, honestly, like, when I get really deep into prayer and when I meditate, it's like God puts it on my heart that, like, I'm supposed to be a pastor one day, which is like,
really?
Yeah. And I just cry and I cry and I cry. And I'm like, that is like the biggest blessing I think I could ever receive from God.
I could see that.
But then it's like, I don't know if I want to be a Christian pastor. Can I just be like a guy that loves God? But the problem is,
you gotta start your own religion, man.
No.
you gotta build your own cult, dude.
Tried that before. No. I don't want to be a cult leader. Maybe I'll be a Christian pastor. I don't know, but God puts that on my heart so strong because, like, I know what God's done for me, and I know I've lived a lot of lives, and I've lived a lot of lives where I've been straying and avoiding God.
Sure.
And it's a one-way ticket to hell on earth.
Me too, man.
It's not good, bro, and it feels very bad.
It's very lonely. It's a very lonely spot.
Super isolating.
Yeah.
But then in the times in my life where I'm like that and I invite God into my soul and I just pray like a little prayer that I say, God, I've been running from you. I want to run back to you, like, wash over me. And I just feel it and I start crying. And, like, that's how I know that there's a God. Like, there's no way. No way.
To be overcome like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. So...
Yeah, long story short, man, that's what I've been trying to get better at it. Whatever that may be.
I've learned, honestly, Sam, it's just a little thing here and there, right? For example, for me, like, last Friday was my birthday. I went out. We had more than a couple. And then I woke up Saturday. I slept until 1. And then Saturday spiraled. And then I slept all day, ate like crap, went out Saturday night. And then for me, the difference was just today. I woke up and instead of going out last night, I went to bed at a decent time. I, played video games with my friends, whatever. Woke up this morning and like I told you before, or maybe it was on the podcast or before.
Yeah.
I got up and I went to the infrared sauna and I did like a run outside and I did some breath work. And I think it's just the more we could just make these little minute changes, like they get us closer to our highest version of ourselves.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of where I am, dude. Just trying to scale back the drinking as much as possible.
Yeah.
Sidebar, you said that you woke up at 1 and ate like shit. Bro, we're at the age where these hangovers, dude.
Man, they're hitting different.
They're 48 hours and they are debilitating.
Oh yeah.
It's like exactly, dude. It makes it just like not even worth it to get to that level. Just
because at that point you're trading 5 or 6 on a good night. Generally on a good night, really, it's like 2 hours of bliss, 4 hours of chasing that feeling, and then 48 hours of pain. It's like not worth it.
Yeah, you feel like shit the next day.
Yep.
Just from the dehydration and you know what alcohol does, and then once you finally shake that off, because you can shake that off with a nice trip to the sauna and going on a jog, so you can shake that off, sweat that out of you. But then the mental aspect of the next like day or two, that's where it's like the auto depression kicks in. It's just like
oh dude,
it's
just,
wild.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, and that's why I've gotten more into like. I used to use cannabis a lot more when I was younger, and then cannabis gave me anxiety from like the time I was like 22 to like maybe 28.
See, it's never done that for me.
Really?
It's opposite effect.
Damn.
I believe that's my highest version of myself.
Really?
Is when I am fucking stoner Sam. Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad.
Like no pun intended, highest version, but I mean like when my alcohol consumption is at a low and my weed is moderate to high, it's just like I'm the best version of myself. I'm working out more. I eat better. It's just like it's wild. Yeah, my music. I'm more creative. Yeah, it calms the anxiety for me. It's great. It's a tool that I rely on heavily. That I don't see myself ever giving up.
Yeah,
you can strip it all from me, man.
Yeah,
you can.
but
like,
don't take my cannabis.
Yeah, don't take my fucking
my cannabis.
Yeah, they'll never take my Mary J. But yeah, and it's just funny growing up how we grew up. Like I grew up in the area that we're in now, where it's just like the border of the east side of Detroit's right next to us. So it's like it went from like being treated like I'm doing a similar drug to heroin, like growing up, going to trap houses, getting this weed, smoking blunts with my friends, and like being like, oh my God, like we are breaking the fucking law.
Yeah.
Right? So now I just walk into a store and buy it. It's pretty remarkable. And I believe that if it was inversed, I think if it was like this now, I think my drinking would have been way less anyway. And you're seeing that with this next generation. Yeah. They are drinking less,
it's
dude.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're drinking way less than the previous generations. Yeah. And I don't even know. I don't know what the weed numbers are. Maybe they're even smoking less too. But I know that the booze consumption for the generation coming in, the Gen Z, is way down. Way down. They don't drink as hard as we did.
No, I don't think they party as hard as we do. But maybe they party on different things. Maybe they party on the Holy Spirit.
Hopefully, right?
But no, man. God bless. I think that what's interesting, and to wrap up the point about cannabis, was it made me anxious for so long, but I prayed about it, and I'm like, God, like I basically did this prayer. I'm like, God, I've seen what you've done for other people with cannabis. Like I look at like a Wiz Khalifa or like
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that they're living their life in profound anxiety, and if they are, why would they keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, God, why does this make me anxious? And then it's like now I smoke weed and meditate, and I do feel anxious sometimes, but like it's like this voice behind it saying like, what are you even anxious for? You know?
Yeah.
And it was like the anxiety of having anxiety that was like keeping me from playing the game.
It was the pre-game anxiety.
Literally. Yeah, that's what
crazy.
it was.
Yeah.
Like, and then if I'm like actually in an
Holy
anxious
shit.
state, like it's trippy, but like it's almost like I not even disassociate, but I like go into the anxiety, and it's like weed is like weirdly like
you're manifesting
helping
the
me.
anxiety.
Yeah. And I've realized that like a lot of life just comes down to thought, whether good or bad thoughts we're having, right? And I think like when I was getting anxious with pot, it's because I would have a thought that would make me anxious, and that would follow me, and that would follow me, and that would just keep getting worse and worse and worse. But I just followed the train, and it didn't kill me. You know, I'm still here. But
for sure.
Yeah, cannabis has been really helpful for me now, and I'm glad that I can add that to my repertoire, if you will. And I would much rather consume cannabis than alcohol. I think that, dude, like, if I'm having a night here at home where I'm like whatever chilling, like trying to play guitar or write music or maybe play some video games with my friends, and like I'm doing that till midnight, and I go to sleep and I'm smoking weed during the time, like I'm not gonna wake up anxious. That's for sure.
No, definitely
I'm gonna
not.
Wake up
you're gonna get
like
the best fucking. You're gonna eat a bunch of food and then get the best sleep of your life. But yeah, dude, for sure. No, I like to burn one before I go for a jog. Enhances that natural runner's high that you already get from that cardio, from that heart rate going up, that natural amazing adrenaline that you get.
Yeah.
It enhances that fully. Like I like. Before anything, really. But, it's fun. It's a fun tool to use.
I think there's something to the weed runs. There's this guy Andrew Murnane who posts similar stuff on social media about consciousness and awakening and all that. But he goes on like edible runs where he like takes like a 5 milligram.
I think
edible.
I have seen this guy's videos.
He makes some really nice videos. Yeah, and then he started to do it with microdosing mushrooms too, and it has similar effect. And now I started. Bless you.
Thank you.
I started to do runs after microdosing, and microdosing is another thing that's come up on a lot of these podcasts, but that's helped me out quite a bit too. For someone that has diagnosed bipolar and anxiety and ADHD and all of these different boxes that the pharmaceutical industry decides to put me in.
You're like just right in the center of the Venn diagram.
Yeah, well, depending on the day, I might be here, but it's all, I don't know, it's just all the way we navigate life. But I've been microdosing like 3 or 4 times a week, and in the morning a really small amount, like I think 0.05 or something, just the tiniest amount. But like, dude, like my ADHD is like, it's way less, and my anxiety's not bad, and I feel generally happy. I feel social. I feel like...
I think I need to start.
Yeah.
I think I need to get on a regimen.
Yeah. I could help.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. No, sorry to cut you off.
No, but it's just these little things I think we can sprinkle into our day that help us.
Yeah. One of my best friends, and he did it for a long time. He was a chef, so those are long, hard-working hours.
For
sure. And he was on a microdose regimen for a while, and he loved it. Yeah, it helped. It pulled him out of a dark spot. So yeah, there's definitely good benefits from what I've heard.
There's totally good benefits because and I've shared this on the last podcast, and whoever's watching this, you know a lot about mushrooms by now, if you watched every episode. But I read this book, and it talked about the atomic molecular makeup of psilocybin, which is the psychoactive chemical in mushrooms. Mm-hmm. And it talked about serotonin. And if you look at it, the chemical makeup of serotonin is only 1 molecule away from psilocybin. So it's so it's no wonder when you take these small amounts, like it hits your serotonin receptors, and obviously if you have more serotonin, it unlocks kind of that creative flow space.
Parts of your brain that you fucking can't use just on your own, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Well, because we only use like 3% of our brain, something like that. Yeah.
No, I learned that from watching Bradley Cooper's Limitless.
Yeah, see? Yeah. Oh, dude, what a movie. When I watched that movie, I'm like, I need that drug right now. Yeah. But I don't think a drug like that
you already have it, man. It's called Adderall.
Yeah. But then Adderall, I guess it kind of can be.
Because that's what it has that effect for me. Because that's how I've never been diagnosed because I don't think I've seen enough doctors and therapists in my life. And another thing that I probably need to be better at. But Adderall doesn't have the jittery fucking synthetic methed out vibe that it gives a lot of people. It literally allows me to lock the fuck in.
Oh yeah.
And that's how I know I'm like every time I take it, which is probably a few times a year if someone's like, whatever the case may be, however I stumble upon it, I'm like, dude, I need to be on this. It's like this is what it feels like to focus on a task at hand. Like, this is what it feels like to be purely locked in. So
you might find that with microdosing.
Probably.
Because I was on Adderall basically from when I was 14 to 18. Then I abused it too much, and I had to get it out of my system, so I don't do it anymore. But
abusing it or not, I feel like your body and your brain's gonna become so dependent on it anyway that like you won't be able to function without it, regardless.
Dude, that feeling that you describe, I was 14 years old in high school, and I took Vyvanse for the first time, and I was like, I literally felt like Limitless. It was wild. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm like answering every question. Like, I can't. I can't stop answering these questions, and I would go home and I'd study my Spanish homework for 3 hours. Like, it was pretty wild. Yeah. But it was almost to the point where, like, it was not conducive because it was like it put me in kind of this state of almost like mania where like I wasn't happy unless I was like doing fucking tasks. Yeah. Like, you can't just like take an Adderall and stare at a wall. Like you have to be like doing something.
Oh yeah, you got to be nonstop moving for sure.
But I don't know. I think it's a really nice time to be alive, especially as a creative like you are, to be able to figure out like, okay, maybe the things that got me where I needed to be are not the things that will get me where I'm going to, right? So like maybe if alcohol helped my creative process in the past, but there's a lot of negatives with alcohol, maybe like mushrooms or maybe cannabis or whatever we end up taking, breath work, yoga, meditation will get me to a space where I can be creative.
Exercise,
and I can be in
yeah.
a flow space.
Yeah,
Yeah, exercise too, running,
for sure.
working out. So
Definitely, man. Definitely. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more.
do you have any other beautiful things that you want to share with the world?
Yeah.
This point?
Definitely. No, I just I'm not sure exactly what your dropping schedule is or when this will come out, but I recently put out a project called More Raps, and it's just me, just barring down, you know what I mean? Just not thinking too hard, and just wanted to get some stuff off, and so that's out there for the world to enjoy. And I'm just gonna keep creating and putting it out to the world, and hopefully people will receive it, and some will, some won't, and that's okay. We just keep going.
Yeah. Keep being yourself.
Yeah, man. That's a callback.
And everyone watching this, be yourself. And I'm so grateful that you came here, Sam.
I needed this, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. This ends
up
being a form of therapy for me, I think, as much as
for me
everyone
too.
that's been here, man.
For me too. No, it's very refreshing. Usually, every pod that I do, no disrespect to any pods that I've done or interviews that I've done, it's like, so what got you into hip hop music?
You got the voice still.
What made you catch the bug? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, man, I don't know, bro. Like, what? You want to hear me say for the 9th time that, like, yeah, dude, the movie 8 Mile was very fun. It drilled it home for me. What can I say? I saw a white guy from my city do it at a really high level. Yeah, man. So, no, it's been really cool. It's been very refreshing to not just sit here and talk about just, what's going on with me, but also to learn from you. So, thanks for that. And, would like to come back anytime and continue to build on whatever you're working on and help out where I can, man. And,
well, now I got to get back in the music space. So now this is your call to action to help me.
For sure, buddy. We'll get you going on the Ableton.
Level. Yeah.
We'll get you going.
What's next for you in terms of you just dropped the podcast? Not the podcast. You just dropped the new project.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's pretty much music for me at this stage is just kind of similar to what you're doing with the pod. It's just a nice way to release and get some stuff out there and just remind people that I'm fucking nice. And
you're cool with it though, bro. I mean, you really are.
I appreciate it. Yeah. No. But yeah, no. At this point in my life, it's just something that I'm going to continue to do and have fun with, and just try to detach myself from the results as much as possible. Because, like you said, man, like we said about the social media thing with the Netflix thing, it feels like I've been chasing that dragon. I've been chasing that high. Yeah. And it's like, dude, you're on a television show that was aired in like 90 countries. There's a high probability it'll never be that high again.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to just find your own new high and your new version of, because it was easy to kind of fall out of love with the whole process and let it turn into a job.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm just trying to get to that space where I'm having fun with it, and I'm releasing a ton of shit this year. Got a project.
Looking forward to it.
Got a project with my buddy Zilly Holiday from Canada.
Okay.
Got another project with probably what I think is like probably the best MC in Detroit right now, Dango 4Lane. Me and him have a joint project together. Okay. And I'll continue to just release stuff, and hopefully, like I said, people soak it up. And if they do, they do. If they don't, then fuck it.
It's part of the creative process.
Exactly.
I think, real quick, Miley Cyrus said it recently, how she was like, I don't even like performing anymore because it's got to be hard, bro. If you're performing at like the level that she is, and you're going on stage and you're getting ready, and you have this moment where like everyone's singing your music in a stadium of like 100,000 people, and then you get off the stage and you're just sitting there in the green room by yourself. Like I can feel it like in my heart.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it's like, how can we find just as much beauty and energy and joy and flow in the everyday? Yeah. And just releasing a project and being excited that you fucking released a project.
Yeah.
Or even just like putting a 16 verse bar on a track and like that feeling of like, damn, I just murdered that.
I just laced that. Yeah, for sure. And that's the stuff that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's the stuff that's making me high again. You know what I mean? It's like God damn, that's one of the craziest beats I've ever made. Just that feeling again, trying to find the love for the process again, and because it seemed like for a few years there after the success I had from the Netflix show that I was going into the creative process like, well, damn, okay, cool, I just made this sick ass song, but like, which part of this song is gonna be a good TikTok?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like rewires the brain.
Yeah. Been trying to get that out of my fucking head and just enjoying the process again.
Cool, man.
Yeah, brother.
Thanks again for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You're a beautiful human. I'm glad you came.
Thanks, man. Needed your energy today.
Yeah, bro. It's all love.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Tune in next time. Peace and love. We'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
With Sam and Tyler. And be yourself.
Always.
Always. One love.